welcome back to another One Chart lesson. Today we're doing a fairly short lesson, but it's for a beautiful little piece by Jack Johnson. I'm playing my old beat up pawn shop Yamaha classical guitar. It's a bossa nova type piece. I'm going to call it instrumental because I never sing the French lyrics that he does, but it's a piece called Belle, and it's a really relatively straightforward chord progression, but it's going to use some nice chord voicings that maybe a few of you haven't really delved into a lot before. They're really nice chords. They're minor 6, major 7s, those kind of things. Really nice kind of fruity chords to start getting into. And the finger picking rhythm, as you just saw me do, is that bossa nova style. I'm going to show you exactly how it's done, but your chart will spell it out very accurately as well. So what it is a 16 bar chord progression that repeats 3 times through. So the first time is the introduction, just guitar on its own. Second time the accordion comes in, and the third time is when he sings a verse over the top of it. Now, what he's doing, let's start with the first chord, which is a G major 7. Actually, in the very intro, he plays this G6, and he just kind of strums it free time. And then we move into the actual chord progression proper. So the first chord in the chord progression is the G major 7, which is this shape. Now, what you do with this shape is you use your first finger to touch and muffle that A string as well as the E string. And so the only strings that you want to hear are the E string followed by D, G, and B strings. Now, it just so happens in a G major 7, you could play that open E string and it will sound nice, it will fit that chord, but most of the time, because we're moving that chord shape around the neck, it's best and safest to mute that top E string. So you've got an A minor shape, you've moved it up 2 frets, and you've put your root note on the 3rd fret of the E string, and you play like that. Now, these 3 fingers will grab the D, G, and B strings, and your thumb takes the bass note. And our rhythm is this, and our rhythm's going to stay the same pretty much through this whole piece. There's a couple of very small variations which I'll try and point out along the way, but it's basically this. You go thumb, all fingers together. So thumb, fingers, thumb, thumb, fingers, thumb, fingers, thumb, finger, finger, finger. Right? So you walk through those last 3 notes, followed by, most of the time it's on the D string, but just an open string as he transitions to the next chord. Right? So that rhythm that I just played then is split over 2 bars. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So what you'll have noticed there maybe is that I'm changing to the second chord on the 4 and beat of the first bar. Instead of changing on the beat of the first beat of the bar, which sounds very straight, if you change on the 4 and, it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So keep that in mind all throughout. You're changing on the 4 and when you go to the next chord. I think it happens every single time. But again, on your chart, accurate as. First chord, G major 7, and moves to a G6, which we've already played, but it's that shape there. So you've got to change your first and second fingers around and put your 3rd finger now over onto the B string to cover that. It feels weird to start with, but you get used to it very quickly. So then we go to a G minor 7. Now, because we're not using the A string, you can play this chord very easily with 1 finger all across the 3rd fret. And again, you're using those same strings. And then we're moving down to a G minor 6 shape, which is that. Back to the G major 7, G6. Then we jump up to the 7th fret and do a B minor 7, same shape, up on the 7th fret for the B. Up to C minor 6, again, it's the same shape, but on the 8th fret now. On the C minor 6, he actually plays the thumb and fingers together, and I think the second time he hits that G, or the G minor 6, down there, he plays those thumb and fingers together. So it's then when he goes up to B minor 7, when he hits that C minor 6, you're playing thumb and fingers together. And then straight after that, he does a slight variation on this. Instead of doing that, he's doing a little triplet feel. So it's 1, 2, 3. And on the third beat, you're taking your fingers off and you're actually playing the open strings. So down to A minor 7 again. A minor 6. A minor 7. Then A flat 7, which we can play like that because again, we're not using the A string. The A string, yep. So one finger across the 4th fret with your second finger on the G string 5th fret. That's your one way to play it. There's other ways to play it, but you know, that's an easy way. Back to G major 7, straight up to C minor 6 again, A minor 7, A flat 7 again, and that's the end of your progression. We go back to the start again. It's a really, really nice little chord progression. It's quite, like I said, it's quite simple once you get the order of those chords right. I'll try and sort of map it out across the bottom of the screen or somewhere on the screen so you can actually just follow that chord progression in its whole entirety. Once you get that rhythm down, it's really, really fun and simple to play. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you here again soon.